In the first year you get to do very general topics, including one of the modules which everyone has to do. It's called The Making of the Modern World, which starts with the Enlightenment and just sort of progresses through to where we are today, making the modern world. And alongside that you'll get to do a couple of other optional modules from a list of sort of 8 or 9 you get to pick from, and it allows you to specialise in different areas around the world, things that you've probably never done before.
So Making of the Modern World, that's kind of your introduction to history at Warwick. You're looking at Europe and Britain and where we end up to today, so ideas of nationhood, capitalism, communism, all these really big ideas which you haven't really come across in detail.
So an interesting topic in Making of the Modern World was learning about the Holocaust and the Nazi era, and it was quite interesting to look at different perspectives as well from this. We talked about Holocaust deniers, we looked at different sources that actually obviously contradict all of that, so it was pretty interesting to look into.
Europe in the Making is a broad first year survey course of the various different developments that were taking place in both Europe and the wider world over the early modern period, so between 1500 and 1800. So we focus on various different elements of change that take place, which includes changes in gender and sexual relations, changes in the economy and the development of empires. We also look at witchcraft.
I studied Europe in the Making, which was kind of like a broad overview of everything from the late Middle Ages up until like the French Revolution type of age. And that's usually a period of history that at school you don't really learn about. So I really enjoyed it because it kind of gave you that foundation for everything that happened into the modern world.
One of my favourite modules in my first year, I would say, was the Enlightenment. So what I particularly liked about it was the degree of focus. There's a lot of breadth to the Enlightenment module, as we had not only discussions about philosophers and different books and ideas that were coming in this time, but also the events which both inspired them and were inspired by them.
My favourite first year module was the module Empire and Aftermath, which looked at the end of the British and the French and the other empires sort of in the 20th century, and the context for that, like the run-up to the end of the empire and then decolonisation. And I really liked it because it was very different to anything I'd studied at school beforehand, and it introduced me to a new era of history, and I've been able to keep up my interest in it throughout the rest of my degree.
So my favourite module from first year was the History of Africa from 1800. I really enjoyed this module as it gave me a chance to study African history, which is something I've never had the opportunity to do before coming to Warwick. I really liked this module because it was extremely challenging for me, and also the tutors were amazing, both the lady who did the lectures and also my tutor I had in my seminars.